Good morning, everybody.
The clap got me.
My favorite is the clap. Well, remember, so whenever, you don't remember, you weren't here. So whenever I was in charge of video editing, that was my favorite part of it, was when we had to like record. I made people like do like the silliest clap because you have to, no one cares, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you're here for actual content, fast forward 2 minutes because right now we're in the pre-chat. So welcome to the pre-chat where chaos thrives. Looking at chaos.
Yeah.
So whenever I was in charge of video editing and video recording, I used to tell people like you had to do like the silliest clap because you have to match up because you typically record audio and the visual stuff separately because you want good quality of both, and then you have to match them up and edit.
Right.
And so the best way to do that, other than like literally if people don't
Zooming
clap, you have to zoom in on a lips and be like, and they're starting now, and like match it up like that. So whenever I was doing it, I required people to do like the goofiest clap. If you just did one of like these, I was like, absolutely not.
It's not gonna work. Actually,
so like we had like that. And stuff.
That's a good one.
We had like that's when the old films and they like marker is because the audio is done separately.
The little clacky thing.
And they have to line it up. And if you have a definite noise, easy to line up.
Yeah. I do that for Alex. I'll give him, because he's got the two cameras a lot of times, I'll give him one, and I'll look at the other one and be like, that one's for you.
What's that one gif that's like, who's that guy that you're absolutely in love with? And he's talking to the camera and goes, and turns around, you should know this too. It's like another camera.
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Medicare Cafe, guys. Again, we are still in the pre-chat.
Guy you're in love with. I was like,
Oh my God, there's a lot. There's a long list of men that you're absolutely in love with.
That's my guy.
Yeah. I never did watch that movie with him and
Nick Cage. You should. It's really good.
What's it called?
It's like the overwhelming something.
I hate it already.
He's got a lot of talent. It's Nick Cage, so
Nick Cage.
Something to that effect. Overwhelming pressure of something. I don't know. Lost it. It's a good movie. You should watch it.
You're really telling me on it.
Good luck finding it.
Telling me on it. Welcome to the Medicare Cafe, guys. First of all, I hope everybody had a lovely long weekend. Hopefully you took advantage of the long weekend and took a nice little day to relax. If you hate your family, then hopefully you got to be with your friends. If you don't have any friends or family, then I'm sorry. I still hope you enjoyed it. Did you do anything fun?
Not extremely. We just kind of relaxed.
Do you hate friends and family as well?
No.
Okay.
We just kind of relaxed at home, and then yesterday barbecued with my family. And I picked the one little window that it decided to rain here in Columbia.
It did. It came down for like 10 minutes, maybe.
That's when I was finishing up grilling.
Nice. So when you said barbecue, I thought you said I was with Barb-Cued. Barb-Cued, like first name Barb, last name Cued. Yeah. I'm like, who the hell
my friend.
Barb-Cued.
I have friends and family, all right? I have
You're not one of those sad. I have Barb-Cued. Guys, today on the Medicare Cafe, we are talking specifically about the client experience post-appointment. And I think it's one of the most overlooked points of the 8-step selling process. If you guys aren't familiar, we preach the 8-step selling process, where step 8 is truly the retention and the referral, everything that happens when you leave that appointment, hang up that phone call, or escort them kindly out of your office. And this was actually your idea to talk about.
For sure. It's something I talk to a lot of our new agents about, I think, more than anything. And I feel like that's a fault. Like, our current agents that have been out there doing it a while need to make sure they're also having a good follow-up process and just thinking about what the client does after they leave your office. Obviously, they're going to go use that insurance, but how are you going to keep reminding them of you and your services?
Exactly. So, like, there is 100% a value into having a really solid post-appointment process. And the idea here is that you never want to create more busy work for yourself. Right. So you want everything to be systematic, things to just kind of flow through, that you having to be like actively involved in a lot of them. One of the biggest things, especially if you're working with somebody who's new to you but not new to Medicare, that a lot of people don't consider is buyer's remorse. When people don't have a really good follow-up process or a really good like walk away with, because they just made significant changes to their insurance. Maybe sometimes that's financial changes, maybe, and that's something that, like, that's their healthcare. It's really important. So when they leave without something tangible, when they leave with any shade of doubt, it's likely that you're going to get a phone call that says, you know what, actually, I'm going to stay where I am at. Whatever problems I have, I'd rather take the problems and the uncertainty. Now, they're never going to say that, but oftentimes what is happening, that newness wore off, and the sinking in of like, whoa, what did I just sign up for?
Kind of the reality of their situation now. It's like, maybe they didn't think about how much a $20, $30 plan would affect their budget. Mm-hmm. And they're like, ew, I just don't really like that. And they see that versus the impact that whatever you sign them up with is going to have on them.
We see that especially like with fear-based sales. We don't recommend fear-based sales techniques, but like when you remove the new and shiny, when you remove that source of fear, which is oftentimes you, the agent, providing that for them, they don't have a constant reminder of, oh yeah, that's what I'm getting in exchange for this. Then when the new and shiny or the fear wears off, then they're left with, okay, I'm spending more money on something that I'm hopefully not going to use. Why am I doing this? So having a really good process after the fact and help with that, we're going to give you about 3 tips in order, 3 kind of subgroups. And I'm going to say that because I made these slides on Friday morning. No, I made these slides Thursday.
Yeah, you were.
I made these slides Thursday, and I have no idea what they said. And I haven't looked over them since Thursday. And I was, it's been a long weekend.
Yeah.
It's been a long weekend. So let's get into it. What tangible things are you giving? Oh, and if you want to text me, my number. Okay.
Who are you?
Back to it. What tangible things? Folders. This is something that I've worked with a lot of agencies that do, and they love it. They have folders that they have with their logos and things like that, and they put their information like fact finders, medication trackers, value add things. They put stuff in that folder, and what they love is that their clients bring that folder to every appointment going forward.
Yeah, this is my favorite one, to be honest with you. Like, this is something I suggest constantly because it's rather inexpensive to kind of get these kind of pieces put together, print them out, get them in a folder. And it's highly memorable because a client will take that home, and when they're needed to look for their insurance or think insurance stuff, most people, unlike myself, responsible adults, have a place they put these folders.
I don't think most do. Like,
okay,
honestly,
good.
Like most people have like documents in like a fireproof lockbox.
Yeah, I have a plastic container thing my wife puts stuff in.
Just as good. But like you don't get it. And the crazy thing about that is that if something, okay, this is going to sound morbid, but if something happened to you, does your family know where your life insurance policy is, where your health insurance policies are, where those important documents are? Like honestly, if something happened to you, do your family know how to collect on your life insurance without, do they even know who your insurance agent is? So it is nice to have a place to where, hey, all my important documents are here, including this content.
Well, you just scared me into getting a filing cabinet, so that fear-based sale would work.
Listen, new and shiny. Let me tell you about it.
No, that's something where it's that everything that's in there. So everything from what you sign them up with, what you do, and what they could be looking forward to. So if there's other products that you said, hey, we can look at these other like final expense or cancer plans down the road. Putting something in there that just basically says you do it. Like it doesn't need to be anything fancy. Senior marketing specialist has some of those pieces pre-made.
Yeah.
But it's just something in there that's reminding the client of all the other services you bring. And I love the idea of having like the medicine tracker, different things that are something they'll be able to use throughout the year. But then you could tell them to tuck that back in their folder and bring it with them next time.
Well, there's something about like holding something that symbolizes the transaction.
Right.
I remember, this is going to be crazy, but I remember when I was like a child, like a kid, like my mom took me to go buy shoes for like elementary school, first day school. And it was back whenever in order to order something, you had to go to the store and order it. So I wanted these shoes. They didn't have it in my size. We ordered them, and we had to go back to the store to go pick it up. Okay, this would have been in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
But what they did is they handed me like a box and said, like, we just like, you ordered these. We don't have anything for you to take home today. But it was something tangible for you to have because you just spent a lot of money to walk out with. And that was impactful. And so what I love about this idea too is that everything you said reminds them of the products, builds your name recognition, builds that branding. They see it consistently. But we actually had an agency that had an accordion one.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and so they had like different spots in there, and they had each spot filed, or you open it up and it had slots. And so they would have like on the slot names, they would have, your Medicare insurance. So they have the Medicare supplement or the Advantage plan, cancer insurance, drug coverage, asset protection, and would go through the list of, nursing home, things like that, would go through this list. And so there was a physical gaps
Yeah,
where
that's
they
nice.
didn't have coverage. So it was a visual of like, oh, I only have this little pocket covered. There is all these other pockets, making a physical gap. So there is a lot that you can do with that. One, people walk away with something tangible. They feel like they made a decision. They can look back on it, research it, build your name recognition. But it's a great way to kind of passively cross-sell and mention these other products if that's not something that you did within that appointment.
The passively mentioning that
Mm-hmm.
is something I've been talking a lot about with
Mm-hmm.
AEP being crazy, needing all the time in the world to spend with your
Yeah.
clients. That cross-selling might take a little bit of a step back while you're trying to take care of all these core products.
Yeah.
So just having that piece in there to remind them like, hey, when we talk next time, because you're going to, bring this. Let's talk
Bring
about
this
these
folder.
pieces.
Exactly. So it is really impactful. Huge. That's like the number one. Have something tangible they walk away with. That does everything we just talked about. The next thing it's talking about, which is wildly important, is setting the expectations for continued communication with them and making sure that you're getting that set up while you're in office. Let me say this, if you are hoping that they take action once they leave your office or once they hang up the phone or once you leave their home, if you're thinking like, okay, in my follow-up, I'll have them like my Facebook page, subscribe to my newsletter. That's not going to happen because when you're out of sight, you're out of mind. You have to strike while the iron is hot.
Mm-hmm.
So once you're done with the appointment or throughout your appointment process, make sure you're helping them go and like your page, your Facebook page. Make sure you're adding, like my favorite thing is like if they have a cell phone, take their phone, add your number. I have an agency that does this. They take a selfie with the client. Of course,
Nice.
if a client's like that, they'll take a selfie, set it as their like phone picture. And so that way, every time you call, you don't come up as spam. But you have
really
to do
nice.
that during that appointment because I've been that a million times. Somebody say like, hey, can you add this to there? Hey, can you write me a review? Hey, can you like, yeah, I'll get to it. I don't ever get to it. So make room in your appointment, especially towards the end of it, to go ahead and knock out those things, strike while the iron's hot.
For sure. I like the, especially like Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
is just getting like a QR code. Those are really easy to make.
I love QR
Have them
codes.
printed somewhere so they can just go
La, la, la,
with their
la.
phone. They're on there, and then you can transition right into like they're on their phone, getting on the Facebook page, then do the little selfie thing. Because I really like that idea. Because whenever somebody calls me and I have their picture saved, like they have some type of picture on there,
Oh, yeah.
especially if it's one I picked, then it's extra funny to me.
Yeah.
But like to have that insurance agent with you on the phone, they call, you're like, who is Olivia? Oh, yep,
Yeah.
yep, okay.
Well, and it's familiarity.
Yeah.
People want to work with their friends. So if they see you pop up, you're a friend calling. It's not coming across as spam. They don't have to be like, who is this number?
What number is this?
Clemens Insurance Group. Oh, yeah, that's my Medicare guy. No. When they see themselves, that's why they love to do, like, let's take a
the
selfie
selfie's
together.
nice.
They see their own picture. Obviously, people are, like, used to, like, they look for themselves in pictures. They look for themselves. So it gets their attention. And it's just kind of a nice little value add. Creates that friendship feel with you and your clients. Now, this last point here on the follow-up appointment, there is a lot of what's the value add in setting follow-up appointments. Even if the appointment isn't until, if you're having an AEP appointment, if the next appointment isn't until that next October again, it's still worth it. Dentists do this. That's why dentists have incredible retention rates. They do not let you leave the office until you have your follow-up set. And so it is a huge value add. That way, whenever it comes that time for you to meet with them again, you don't have to resell yourself. You don't have to try to rebuild that bridge or rebuild that relationship from nothing again. Your next phone call to them is an appointment reminder, not trying to convince them to meet with you again.
Yeah, I love the idea of adding that to being something physical too, as having like an appointment reminder card. If that's something that you've got, if that's something you're looking at making, I know that it's pretty basic. It's just date.
Well,
sign
people
it,
will put it
your
like on the
agency
back
ID.
of their business card, and then they'll put a little label sticker on there that is just like appointment date, appointment time.
Nice. I like that a lot because
Yeah.
it's another physical piece, but it's also saying, hey, I'm not going to be done talking to you this day. We're also going to talk on this day, and here's all the services that I provide.
I got sunburnt. See this?
Yeah, you did.
kind of tight today.
Yeah, just like that.
And my
I hate that feeling.
clothes just are scratching at it.
Mhm.
Happy Memorial Day weekend the next day. So again, and then Clayton, how do you like? You said that you like the QR codes to get them to get your newsletter and your social media, right? Like,
Mhm.
and I also think that's a great way. We have organizations that use QR codes for referrals. We didn't. I think we talked about this a little bit, but it's really important. Again, striking while the iron is hot. Ask for referrals and that appointment, and make it as easy as possible. And I'm not talking referrals. What am I trying to say? Reviews. Ask for reviews during those appointments. And like people will have like a QR code that's tied to like in a Google account or their Facebook page. Scan it, because if you're asking for reviews, number one, if somebody reviews you on social media, it's like psychology that like once they proclaimed to the public that they like you, they're much more likely to do that on a more organic one-off basis, and they are much more likely to stay loyal to you. That's actually a fun fact that hospitals do. If you ever see hospitals that have like certain surgeons on billboards or have certain like patients that they do advertisings with, those are typically, oftentimes those are because those are patients that are going to be their centers of influence, but they're also ones that are not going to go anywhere. Because if I go somewhere else after I proclaimed that I like your services, then I am admitting that I was wrong.
Right.
And nobody wants to be wrong.
Yeah.
So get reviews that way too.
If you can get the review right there, that's going to be the best. Make it simple for them. Have that direct page. I know certain businesses will like text you a review afterwards, and that's kind of nice. But I will say, like, I kind of ignore those too.
I do.
Unless they were like really good, I'm not even going to do the text message thing.
Are you a bad review person? Do you leave bad reviews?
No review is a bad review.
Yeah, I've done like a bad review twice in my life, and it's because I was like wronged.
Yeah, no, if I don't leave a review, it's just like either I was too lazy and didn't want to, or it was bad and I don't want to give them anything.
To be fair, I've only left like a few good reviews. Like
I've left a lot of good reviews.
I've made like maybe less than 5, right?
Yeah.
But like I've only made like I can think of 2 times where I've actually like gone out of my way to be like a Karen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just Karen.
I'll leave that to my wife. She's really good at it.
She's a good Karen.
Yeah.
I think every Clayton needs a Karen.
I do.
Like you're too nice to send your food back.
Yeah.
At a restaurant.
She literally had to send my food back the other day.
That just happened.
Yeah, like Texas Roadhouse.
You're too nice, and she's the one that's like, "No, Mama got you."
Yeah, like, no, we paid good money for your steak. It's gonna be cooked the way you want.
It's gonna be good.
I'm
Yeah,
like, it's fine. It's not.
No, there's a healthy dose of Karen that everybody needs in their life. Now, the aggressive, wild Karen is where I draw the line. Now, Brittany says, "Hi, Clayton again." Hit Clayton again. Sorry, she was being mean. I was like, "That's not like Brittany to be
That
mean."
makes more sense.
Let's move on to the next point. And I've kind of said this. I am the biggest believer that setting the expectations, success is measured. Success is measured by how well expectations are met. So again, this is one that I really like talking about because what they expect may not be real. And again, you want to make sure you want to avoid buyer's remorse at any chance possible. There's so much that can contribute to buyer's remorse, right? So if they're expecting, like if you're submitting an application or something like that, and they're expecting, because like Amazon's turned us all into Prime members and I get in 2 days or less, and most times less than that now, then but you know, if I'm expecting that kind of turnaround, but it doesn't come for a week, I'm pissed off already.
Yeah,
I'm starting the relationship.
wrong.
I'm starting the relationship bad, so I'm either upset or my anxiety kicks in, right? So set the expectations of what we should be hearing from, when we should be hearing from, what we should be seeing from the carrier. But I think as importantly, if not more importantly, from you as an agent.
Yeah, and I really like just letting them know like how often you typically reach out or what your review process looks like. So the second you call, they're not instantly going to ignore it because like, he's just going to try to sell me some more insurance.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm just trying to set up the reviews, or I like to check in with my clients and make sure that the benefits we're signing up for today are being used. And I want to make sure if you need help, I reach out to you to do so. Because we know if you rely on the members to only call you when they have problems, they're probably not going to call. They're going to kind of push that around, or they'll call the carrier. They'll look it up online. They might get wrong information.
Well, yeah, that's what they're used to.
Yeah. So, like, if you just Google it, you might figure it out.
Google
but, like,
doesn't lie.
So if you call, you get a lot of, this is something like I do. I reach out to agents. It's like, oh, yeah, while I have you, I have these questions. And those kind of just like, hey, I like to reach out to my clients once a quarter, once every like twice a year, whatever it might be. Just let them know that why you're calling when you call is important.
Well, I think that's what a lot of clients, like agents that I work with, we just had an agency in the office the other day, and they were telling me like, oh my gosh, we beat up our clients. We call them so much. I'm like, well, and they're a really successful agency, and I was like, and they were sad about how often they're I'm like, well, how often is that? They're like, maybe once every 3 or 4 months we're calling them, and I was like, hold on, no, that's incredibly positive. You'll have to do that, especially when in this AEP. They'd be for top of first of line, but the idea is you just can't call every single time asking for a sale, right? So there's other things you just hit on it. Are you using your benefits? Is it working the way that you want? Have you signed up for that, for pickleball yet with your plan? So there's things like value add like that. But if all you're doing is calling them and saying, have you heard about cancer insurance? Have you heard about DVH? Let me talk to you about this. Then like that's the expectation they get from you. But if you don't talk to them at all, or don't tell them like, hey, I'm going to be calling you for updates, I'm going to be calling you to help you on things, then it's just like, again, it helps build the relationship that this is long term, and I'm not a one or doneer. You don't need to call a call center when things get tough this AEP and things get scary. You call me. You have me in your corner.
And I think it's really important too, just to like have the client know, hey, good CRM notes are really important. Let them know that you really cared about the reasons they sign up for a certain plan.
Yeah.
Especially with like Medicare Advantage, there could be a specific benefit or a certain area of concern for them, and you want to make sure that you're following up on that concern or why they wanted that plan. And if you do that, the client's gonna be like, "Oh, they really remember me." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I need to go to the dentist still."
I do. Have you gone since we talked?
No.
I'm going on 2 years since going to the dentist, and you know why? It's because they didn't set a follow-up appointment. I'll tell you what. They did set the follow-up appointment, but I had to cancel because of a last-minute conference I had to go to, so I canceled, and they didn't reschedule me there, and I haven't been back since. So it's their fault.
Yes,
my dental hygiene is failing me.
I will also blame my dentist, who's doing a really good job of reaching out to me, and I'm just like...
And if they called me and said, hey, let's set up an appointment, I'd make it. I know I need to, but I just don't think in my day... I should be an adult and do it myself, but I'm not going to. I'm just making a point here.
I won't say the same. I would avoid that phone call.
You would avoid the phone call?
Oh, 1,000%.
Dentist?
1,000%.
No, I would.
I saved my phone for that exact reason.
I would say thank you so much for calling me because I know I need to do this. I just keep forgetting to call you.
Dentists scare me.
Dentists are scary.
Yeah.
No, end of sentence. Dentists are scary.
They got sharp tools and they go in your gums.
Well, you have sharp teeth.
I never considered biting them. Why? Why have I not bit my dentist? Just to, like, show them, like, hey.
Remember who's boss here. Like, I might be paying you. You may have the tools, but at any moment, I have the choice to bite you, and I'm refraining.
Aubrey, this is really dumb. Super.
Because the rest of this hasn't been really dumb. No, please.
Aubrey,
bring down the level of conversation.
Aubrey will pretend to be a dog, and we say, hey, watch out, that dog might bite you. And she'll just repeat, bite you. That's all she'll ever say back. And she'll pretend to be a dog, and she will try to bite you, and then she'll tell you, I bite you.
Put that thought in her head.
I was petting her because she was being a dog. I said, it's a good dog. And then she goes, ow, and bit my hand. And she goes, I bite you.
You put the idea in her head. She was
guess.
I'm a puppy that just loves pats. And you said, that dog bites. And she said, yes,
dogs
she
bite.
does.
She's dogs bite.
Yes, this dog does bite.
Yeah, so my daughter bites me sometimes.
Honestly, that's on you.
Yeah.
Bite her.
But only when she's pretending to be a dog.
Oh. Okay, you know what? That was the last one.
Sweet. Perfect. Glad I derailed us at the exact last moment.
I honestly, guys, I've had a fantastic Memorial Day weekend and paying for it today, getting a lot of caught up on work and things like that, but super thrilled. Guys, that is what we're talking about today is how to make sure you're doing well on the post-appointment. If you have a good process for post-appointment, it should not add time, should not add work, will add referrals, will add retention. A little bit certainly does go a long way, especially, again, to fight against buyer's remorse. That's one that I think a lot of people forget about is, they canceled this policy. They only had this policy for a couple months and they've already canceled it, or, they wanted to stay with the current plan that they were on. So these are just some things that you can do that don't cost anything that allow you to, again, referrals, retention, respect, RESPECT, find out what it means to me. Right?
Nope.
Nope.
That's it.
Just kidding. Actually, next time I'm at the dentist, I'm going to have to really fight my intrusive thoughts. I'll be like, don't bite, don't bite, don't bite, don't bite.
I'm gonna bite him.
I'm sorry, Dr. Nick. He's my dentist.
I'm not sorry. I'm gonna bite him.
1, don't forget about your client. 2, don't bite your dentist. Thank you, Mom and Dad at Senior Marketing Specialist. If that's what you got from today.
They're like, let's just make sure we're pushing the message that we don't suggest biting your dentist.
Senior Marketing Specialist doesn't. That's not necessarily my stance.
Yeah, the cafe.
Just a little, like, when they're in the back, they're working on a molar, just a little clench.
Gnaw.
Let them know that you're still in charge. Let them know that, like, they might be wearing the lab coat and the fancy glasses, but you're kind of calling the shots here.
They come and just lunge out a
Maybe
little bit.
that's why they numb you, is so that you don't have the ability to bite them.
I'm still gonna bite them.
You sure try. All right, guys, any questions, comments, concerns, threats, or promises, please put them in the questionnaire box. I actually will be out next week. I know. Me and Carrie want to do an AMA soon and Ask Me Anything, but I think next week it'll be you and Carrie. So we'll have a really fun episode planned for you guys. But next week I will be at Devoted's rollout. I'm really excited. We're starting to see all these carriers coming out with their certification dates and talking about, now, if you've been watching our webinars, if you've been watching Medicare Cafe lately, you understand that, like, these carriers at this point used to tell us, like, hey, this is what our plans are going to be looking like. We would get like a sneak peek, is what they called them. This is what we're sending to CMS. We know this year that we're really not going to know what plans look like until probably October 1st. So what we're planning on learning from Devoted is less about what their plan structure is going to look like and more about their war battle. I don't know what else to call it. Carriers are literally having war room discussions about how they're going to handle the crisis of this coming up at EP. In fact, we were working with our partners at the carrier level, and they mentioned that I'll just say 3 of the biggest carriers in the MA space for the first time ever had a meeting together to kind of talk about, like, what the heck are we gonna do this AEP? So it's one for the big ones. So my first rollout for the 2025 year is next week, and so that's where I will be.
And June 3rd is their last day to file for rebids,
June 3rd
right?
is the last day to file the rebids, and
So
I will
won't see any of that for a minute.
No, we won't. Well, here's last year when Devoted did this, we literally saw what their benefits were supposed to look like, because they're due to CMS June 3rd, the rollout's June 4th. So I'm pretty sure that's very intentional. I don't know what to expect this year. Should be good.
Heck yeah.
This is what a plan could look like in one of the mini multiverses.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. These are accurate statements. Again, I'm going to check my text messages. Other than Brittany asking me to physically abuse Clayton, pretty quiet today. But again, this is my number. You can text it at any time right there. If you text it, it is me. I've gotten a lot of people texting like, is this real? It is real. If you text it, that is me. Feel free to message me at any time. We got a lot of really cool things coming up.
Yeah.
Not scary at all. Not scary at all. If you are interested in the D-SNP space, we are having a webinar with WellCare this Wednesday. Centene is doing a Do Not Abuse Clayton. I can't agree to that. Anyways.
Slowly scooting.
Terry says, Devoted has already sent me an email saying I'm good to go for Texas for 2025. I don't know. Terry? That's a good question. Send it to us. Send it to us. We'll look it over, because they have announced their certifications for 2025 in June.
June 26th or 5th. It's changed back and forth like twice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brittany.
All right, guys. We appreciate you so very much. We will see you next Tuesday. Same time, same place. Different Olivia. You'll have Carrie instead. But until next time, have fun.
Make money
and give impeccable service. Thanks, y'all.